Well, hello there. Today's day 19th. I can't believe it's day 19th already, so I really enjoyed making these videos. I just finished watching a bunch of the earlier videos that I made, and it was pretty funny, laughing at myself. So what I'm gonna be doing now is I'm gonna be posting videos on YouTube. So probably about different topics. I find it really therapeutic to be reading articles about things that interest me. Um, doesn't matter, right? This is for me anyway, so fuck it. Anyway, here's the article I'm reading today. From ABC News says study looks at veterans most at risk for suicide attempts, and this is answering one of the questions that I posed on an earlier post. It goes like this: suicide remains a substantial problem among veterans, with rising rates in the past decade and higher rates than the general population, according to researchers. A new study published today in the Journal of American Medical Association Psychiatry looks at a large group of veterans and active service members to help determine timing and other factors that put them at higher risk and ways to help combat the problem. Deployment context is important in identifying SA suicide attempt risk among Army enlisted soldiers. The authors wrote in the study, a life career history perspective can assist in identifying high-risk segments of a population based on factors such as timing, environmental context, and individual characteristics. Researchers from several institutions, including the Uniformed Services University of Health and Sciences, Harvard Medical School, and the University of California, San Diego, examined data from 163,178 enlisted soldiers. Of those, 9,650 had attempted suicide during the study period between 2004 and 2009. The author found some surprising results, including the fact that enlisted soldiers who had never been deployed accounted for 61.1% of the enlisted soldiers who attempted suicide. Among these soldiers, the risk for suicide attempt was highest when they reached their second month of service. Those who were deployed were at higher risk 6 months into deployment. For those who had previously deployed and returned home, 5 months after getting back home from their highest risk time. The most likely soldiers to attempt suicide were women who had received a mental health diagnosis in the past month. Those who screened positive for depression or post-traumatic stress disorder were also at high risk for a suicide attempt if they had been deployed previously. Dr. David Rudd, a clinical psychologist focused on veteran issues and the president of the University of Memphis, told ABC News, said the findings showed how soldiers often show signs of distress early into the service. Individuals who have difficulty have it early in their service, said Rudd. It speaks to significant vulnerability when they come into service. Rudd said the fact that suicide rates are at high levels even in people who have not seen combat suggests that officials should focus on improving screening measures before service to identify people unable to cope with stressors of a military job. It raises a tougher question, Rudd said, are they really suited for military experience? We need better screening. The question is, how do you do it effectively for the numbers that large? Clearly, self-report screening is not doing that effectively. Now, the other day I read something about psychopathy being attractive, the military being an attractive career for psychopathy. But the problem with that is that they don't adapt too well because they're more like loners, and they tend to not be able to control their urges, their violent urges. And those are sociopaths and psychopaths don't have the emotional triggers that most of us have. So they don't feel bad about taking another life. They feel like, nah, whatever, it's a bug, squash it. Most people don't feel that way. Most people will think about, shooting. For example, in World War One, officers had a difficult time trying to motivate soldiers to shoot at somebody else because they just weren't used to that kind of, warfare, their conditioning, I should say. And so, in subsequent wars that happened afterwards, people got more adapted to accepting being, having to kill if they had to. and now seems more like it's a cool thing, you know, because of video games and movies that actually people become dehumanized and become more like targets. I think a lot of people see it that way, and I think a reason why is because of video games and whatnot. But I think that once they do go through the experience, you know, it triggers something in their brain. You know, maybe they like it, maybe they feel guilty about it. You know, it conflicts with the morals. I know a lot of people are religious, and their religious fundamentals, you know, they're very ingrained. So when they go against those values or morals, they tend to have a difficult time coping with reality or with being among people. So and I think it's also important to be able to identify when someone is suffering from depression or with PTSD. Depression is only a symptom of it, and there's many symptoms of PTSD. It just depends on the personality type. Some people tend to be more introvert, other people are more extrovert. Some people are more depressive, some people are more angry, but it affects everybody differently. I think the people who are more likely to commit suicide are those who fall into depression. Those who are more likely to commit like heinous crimes like murder, those are more like sociopathic, but you know, nevertheless they're being affected still by they're seeing or what they're experiencing in war. So I think the underlying cause of everything is war. As long as you know, as much as we like to support our troops and, you know, wave the flag and everything, that's cool. And you know, if you do it, whatever, I don't care. That's what, you know. Everybody to each his own. But I don't see it that way. I see it more like I see it differently. That's all. I just keep it to myself. I'll make a video about that later. But for now, I think I'll just end with you know, just like it's good to see the signs. The article said something about screening, which they don't do for the military. I mean, it's a joke, right? You know, people get right through the cracks. People who shouldn't be in the military are in the military. So, and also there's no telling how war trauma is going to impact them. It's just everybody reacts different to it. The important thing though is if you are having issues, talk to somebody. Talk to your friends, keep in touch with your battle buddies, let them know you're doing all right. And if you are having problems coping, let someone know that you know what you're thinking. It's important to let out those thoughts. Don't keep them bottled up inside, because it'll kill you. So yeah, I'm gonna end my video with my 202 push-ups, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on day 20. There you go. I do them on my knuckles because it feels better on my wrist. $22. I hope that was 22. I think I lost count. Anyway, that was day 19. Tomorrow's day 20. 2 more days, and we'll be done. But I'll be keep posting videos so on my own channel. If you guys want to watch, you guys are welcome to subscribe. So, peace.